To everybody. This is your trainer. I'm Kalol. Let me first start by sharing my screen. Okay, so what have we done till now? If we take a quick recap. Right, we learned about absolute path, relative path, navigating within current directory. Oops, what did I do? Yeah. Yesterday, we learned about removing directories, using switches recursively, creating multiple folders, nested folders. Okay, good. So today we are going to learn a few more things. So the first thing that I want to discuss is, like, in case, let me open up the command line first. So this is my remote EC2 instance on AWS console. I already have it up and running. So so what is my current working directory? It is root home EC2 user. Okay. So now if I use the tree command and check, this is my current folder and file structure. Right. Now, suppose like there is this fruits folder. Let me do one thing. Let me make a copy of this. But I have to do -r because it is recursive. It is not an empty folder. The fruits folder has got multiple other files inside it. Okay. So that is why I'm using -r, so that recursively all the files and other folders which are there present inside it, they can also be copied. So let me give the name fruits, and then what will be the name of the copy? So I'll name it fruits -backup. Okay. So if I clear the screen now using Control L and again invoke the tree command. So I made a copy of fruits with the name fruits backup. Okay, this is it is a copy of the original fruits directory and whatever its contents are. Now, suppose I want to transfer this file somewhere. I have to on a network connection, or maybe using a pen drive, or maybe send it as an attachment. Now, if a file has got if a directory has got multiple files, here there are only 5 files. What if this has got 50 files? Then it is better to actually compress the file. When you compress the file, then what you do is essentially a very large file. You can, with many other, if it is a folder, it will have many other files and folders. For example, let me create in the fruits backup, let me create other files and folders also in it. Let me cd into fruits backup. Okay, and then let me make multiple directories here. mkdir file1, no. Directory 1. Directory 2. Directory 3. Directory 4. So let me create 4 directories here. So if I use tree command again. So this is actually showing under fruits backup. So I have to go cd one level up, cd ... Let me clear the screen. And now if I use tree command, this is what it is looking like. Okay, so there are so many directories. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me make it more complex. Inside each directory, I will have further more files. Okay. So what I can do is I can use touch command to create empty files under fruits backup. I'm giving the path here under which file I want, or under which directory I want. So under fruits backup, inside that there is directory 1. So I will type directory 1. I want it under this directory. And what are the files I want to create? Let me name them file. So basically, I'm intentionally creating a very complex file architecture here. And there is a reason why I'm doing it. I will show that to you now. That is good enough. So I've created 3 files inside directory 1, inside fruits backup. So this directory here, this will expand further. So let me clear the screen and let's see what is the tree structure showing now. Okay, I think I did not give the correct path. Let me see what mistake we did here. So fruits backup, directory 1. Oh. Actually, there is a space which came up in between here. Let me do one thing. Let these 3 files remain. I will remove them later on. Actually, no. Let me first delete it, otherwise we will get confused. So these are files which are presently current. File 1, let me just simply delete them. File 1, file 2, file 3. Let's clear the screen. Use tree command. Yeah, so they are gone now. So I was supposed to create it under directory 1. Okay, so one space came up in the command. So how I'm navigating through this, see, I'm not typing these commands. I'm simply using the arrow keys. So I'm just using this up and down arrow keys. Okay, so if you see, let me click here. So if I keep clicking like this, so it will show me whatever the last commands I have typed. Okay, so here there is one mistake, as I can see. So you don't need to type the entire thing. You can just, so there by mistake here a space has come up. Okay, so I need to get rid of this space. So let me just go there. So under the so what it is actually I'm giving the path here. Touch is the command to create the empty files, and I'm giving the path. Inside this path, you create these 3 files. So now it should work. If it does not, we will see what error is coming, and then we will again rectify. So let me clear the screen and then use the tree command again. Okay. Okay, the space it has again taken up. So what it did was it identified the first file that it has put, but after that again there was space. So these 2 files again it has put inside the main directory in my root directory. So let me just quickly move this using the mv command. So which files I want to move? File 1. Sorry, file 2. I want to move it into fruits backup under directory 1. So if I use tree again, so file 2 has been moved here. And file 3 also. Let us use the same command again. All I need to do is change it from file 2 to file 3 here. That is it. Press enter. Clear the screen and type tree. So this is now the correct structure. Now there are So the main focus here is fruits backup. Suppose I want to transfer this file, this directory. Okay, many times I'm saying file. So in Linux, a directory is also a kind of file. It is just a file with special permission. The special permission is that it can contain other files inside itself. Okay, so don't compare it, like you can compare it with Windows. In Windows, a file, a regular file compared to a folder is different. In Windows, your any file is identified using the extension like dot doc, txt, pdf, mp3. So in Windows, it is always the file type is identified using the extension. But in Linux, it is not like that. In Linux architecture, everything is a file for Linux. If you insert a pen drive into your computer, that pen drive will also be considered as a file. If you create a directory, that is also a file. And if you create a .txt file, that is also a file. So when I'm saying fruits-backup, when I'm referring to this as a file, this is in terms of Linux. Okay. Now getting back to zipping the file. Now I want to send this entire thing to somebody. How we will send, that is a different story. But if I want to send so many files, and so I want to send this directory, and this directory alone has got so many files and folders inside it. Okay. Or else maybe, yeah, let us take this example only. So this entire thing I want to compress. So there are certain commands which you can use. Now, the one that we are going to implement is something called tar. The command that I'm going to use for this is tar. Let me clear the screen. Control L and just use tree. Okay, it has become very lengthy. It is coming to the last line again. Never mind. I need to show the picture so that I can show you exactly. All of this I want to create as one single file. Okay. So for that, the command will go like this. tar. This is called tarball. Okay. The command is like this. After tar, you need to give certain switches. So obviously there will be hyphen, then C, Z. This is a very common command. V, F. 4 switches you have to give. C, Z, V, F. When you are compressing, okay? And then leave a space. And after that, you need to give the file name, which one you want to compress. So I actually want to compress this entire folder. So I will just, so see in Linux, what you can do using your mouse, you can just double left click on it and it will get highlighted. So when it gets highlighted, that means in putty, that particular part which is highlighted, in this case, the directory name, fruits-backup, that has got copied also. So now if I simply do a right click on my mouse, automatically it will paste it. So it is a kind of shortcut that you can use. Okay. But then this is the file name. You will have to give certain extensions to it. The extension is so that you can identify and tell Linux that this is the extension I want to create. This is the name I want to create as a compressed file. So the name that you need to give at the end is, there is no space, mind it here, .tar .gz. Okay, GZ stands for gunzip. Gunzip is a format for compressing files. Okay, tar is the utility using that .tar.gz. Okay. And then after that, you have to give the name of the actual directory that you want to compress. So in this case, I want to compress fruits-backup. This is the breakup of this command. So if I just press enter now, Now it has actually shown me like what all it is doing here. All these files and folders inside backup, it has compressed. So let me clear the screen and let me see what is the output here. As you can see, there is a new file, red in color. Okay, so this is the file. This is one single file that has got compressed. This single file contains all these things inside it. So now you can very easily, you can transfer this single file, maybe send it as an attachment, transfer it over a network, or maybe you can even download it from your remote system. Like this is a remote system in the cloud into your local computer. Okay, but then it will be a lot easier to transfer files like this. That is why it is called compressed. Okay, now it is compressed, but then suppose after I transfer it. Now, how will I uncompress it? Okay, so if you have compressed it, then you should also be able to decompress it, or I mean, like open up the archive so that you can see what all files and directories are present inside it. Okay, so what I will do is I will create another new folder, and then I will decompress the contents of this file within that folder. Okay, so let me create a file directory here, mkdir. And let me name it decompressed files. Okay, so if I do ls-l, now there is this directory decompressed files. So it is actually empty. There is nothing inside this. How can I check that? If I do ls-l and then the name of the directory, total 0. There is nothing inside it. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to decompress the contents of this compressed file, the one in red in color, inside this directory. So for that, again, let me first show the current contents here. So for that, again, the command that you have to use is tar. But this time, the switches will be different. -X, Z, V, F. So right now, don't concentrate on what this will do. This we will discuss later on. First, learn how to do this. Okay. So tar, after that, you have to give these switches. And after that, which file, you have to immediately give, which is the compressed file. So my compressed file is this one. This is the name of the compressed file. Okay. But then I want to publish the contents of this compressed or archive file inside this directory called decompressed files. So for that, again, I have to give another switch after this, -C. And after that, I have to give the path. Where do I want to, what is the destination folder inside which I want to decompress the contents of this archive file. So that the name of that is decompressed-files. Under this directory, I want to do it. So let me press enter. Okay, so it did something. So if I use the tree command now, so earlier, see, this was empty. Now the entire thing has, whatever the fruits backup was there, it has decompressed from this archive file. Okay, this is how you can archive files and also decompress them. So let me put it here. So when there are, when do we use this? When we have got multiple files. Okay, so then you will want to compress it, files and folders. Okay, in that case, you will want to compress it. And create one single file. Compress and archive. They are the same words, okay? Compress or archive into a single file. Okay, so this compressing will do two things. First of all, it will reduce the size of the file, overall size, reduce file size. And second, it will be easy to transfer. That is the reason why we are doing it. Okay. But then if you are compressing, obviously you should be able to decompress it also. The opposite of compress or archiving will be to decompress. Right. So the command that we used for compressing, let me quickly show you that command, which one we used. I'll just use the arrow keys here. This one was for decompressing. So let me copy this. If you want to practice this, make sure you follow the previous videos, and whatever I have typed on the screen, do that exact same thing. If you do it like that, then what will happen is you will get the exact structure. Okay. I think I will have to take a screenshot because it is, no, I can do one thing. I can increase the font size because this has become very small actually. Yeah. Yeah, now it is readable. Let me make it lengthy here. Okay, so this command is for decompressing, and for compressing, the command is this one.
No, chalega.
I would request please to go on mute because this is getting recorded. Emmanuel, kindly can you take care of this? There you go. So use this command for compressing. One second. Let me make it easy for you to understand. This is for compressing. And this is for decompressing. This command. There you go. Okay. So now this is something which is frequently used. So you should know about this command. tar is like a very frequently used command. Now, the next important thing that we should learn is something called how to use the Vim editor. Okay, using editor. So this is the next part. This is a little bit tricky. Until and unless you do it yourself, it is actually difficult to learn. But we have to start from somewhere, obviously. So we start from here. Let me show you. Let me introduce you. So this next topic is using Vim editor. Okay. Now, Vim is not, there are other editors also. There are the editors that you can use in Linux are there is something called Nano. Then there is something called VI. And then there is Vim. So out of these three, Nano is the oldest one. VI is by default, it comes installed. So this is like a default editor. Okay, it is already installed. When you launch the EC2 instance in Red Hat, so this is like pre-installed. But Vim, you will have to install separately. Have to install. Okay. All of your editing, but then Vim is it is easier to use. It has got color coding. So when you open the file for editing using the various colors, you will be able to identify the separate lines. That is the good part about using Vim. So it is not a very big hassle. Let me quickly check. So if I have to check if Vim is present or not, what I will do is which, this is the command by which you can check if any software is present in your system or not. So which Vim, enter. So Vim is actually showing that it is already installed. But what I will do is once again, I will uninstall and show you how to install it. Because this was, I think, most probably done in day one. So it will be a quick refresher. So because this is a installation related task, it is an administrative task. You need a super user privilege. So that is why I have to type sudo and then DNF. Now is the package manager. It deals with all the software installations. So now I am going to remove because it is already present. And then I will again reinstall it just to show you how to install. So remove Vim. And in one line, I will give it the permission that don't ask me to stop. -y means I'm allowing the uninstallation in one line itself. And I will just press enter. And now, if you see, it has got, so the Vim software, it has actually removed. So this is the original software which it removed. But then there were other dependencies, other dependent softwares, which was required by Vim for proper functionality. So those also got uninstalled in one shot. And after that, so it is giving me the summary here. Remove 4 packages and then cleared up the hard disk. And then finally, the freed up space, 34 MB, is now free in the hard disk because you have uninstalled. 34 MB more is available as free space in the hard disk. Whenever you remove, it will show you this message. And then it will go through that thing here and then final removed. What are the things it removed? Good. So now let us get back to installing it again. So again, I will use sudo DNF, but this time I'm going to use install command. Install and Vim and -y. So that in one shot, it is uninterrupted install. Now it is downloading and fetching the software. And there you go. So again, all those 4 the main software was Vim. While removing, if you remember, it was showing in red while uninstalling, but while installing, it is showing in green. So again, it requires these three softwares, additional softwares for working properly. So these are called dependencies. Any dependent software which the main primary software requires are called dependencies. So I don't have to bother about this. Who is taking care of installing these dependencies and the latest version of the software? That task I have assigned to DNF. DNF is the package manager, which is handling this entire thing. Good. So now that Vim is installed, let me clear the screen with Control L. Now let us try to use Vim. So I will not use the tree command anymore. Let me use ls command with -L because it is taking up too much of space. Right. Now, how can I use Vim? Earlier, so let us compare Vim with VI. Both of them are editors, but then what is the difference? So for that, let me. So we will learn a little bit of, we will do a little bit of comparison. Nano, I am not getting into. Nano is a very old editor. Nobody sort of uses it now. Okay. As we advance, we should use better software and which is easier to use. And it will be better if you learn using Vim because that is the most advanced, most easiest to use. And each of them have their own separate commands. So it will become very confusing for you. So it is better if you can stick to Vim. And in but 99.99% VI and Vim commands are the same. So VI and Vim, you will not have any difficulty with the commands. The problem that you will have is, I will show you now what the problem will be. So let me use VI command first. So using VI, we can create a new file. See, this is common for both VI and Vim. Okay, let me focus on VI. Let me change the color. So they are editors, which we are learning here. These are editors. When I say editor, what do I mean? For example, in Windows GUI, this is Notepad. Okay, this is an editor. But this is in graphical user interface. If I want to save, if I want to open, I can click on file and I've got all these mouse options that I can use. This is called graphical user interface. You will be doing the same thing, but the change here is instead of, you won't be getting this kind of graphical user interface window. You have to do everything in command line. Command line means this black screen. Everything will be in this black screen. Okay. So how do we, so when we create a, let me get some code first of all. For example, you will be dealing with a lot of code. Let me get some code here. For example, I was working on a file earlier. So if I open it in Notepad, it will look like this. Everything is in white. This is code written for a registration form. Okay. It is a HTML registration form. So if I click on file, save as, and on desktop, I will make it all files. Registration.html. So this is a code file. This is what developers write. Okay. And you are going to save it. Okay. Now, if I open it in Notepad, it is looking like this. This is the code. You don't need to bother about all this code. Okay. This is developers write this. But we are learning how to use the editor to open files. So this is a code file. When you open it in Notepad, it will look like this. Okay. But if I, where is the file? Let me check. Where is my desktop? 1 second. Where did it get placed? I think I saved it in the desktop only. Give me 1 second. I'm actually searching for that file. File save as. Where was the path? Okay, it was in desktop only. Yeah, okay, I got it. So this is the file. Because it is a HTML file, you can open it in any browser. So by default, it has my default browser in this system is Chrome. So if I simply double click on it, it is opening a file like this. Okay, this is the result of all that coding. That is where it is creating this box with for email and password and stuff. Okay, so this is the output of the file. But when you are opening it, I will open it with Notepad. Where is actually in Notepad it is already open here. In Notepad, the code is looking like this. So for creating this file, the developers will write somewhere, right? That is called an editor. So in this case, the editor is Notepad here. You will see the difference. Now everything is in white color. So it is difficult to identify which part is correlating with which part. If this is colorful, then it will be easier to read. This same thing, now let us do it in Linux. Okay. So to create a file, you can use the vi command. Vi, and here I will write registration. Same thing I'm doing, but I'm doing it in Linux. Registration.html. Okay. And then I press enter. See, the moment I pressed enter, the file was not present. It created the file and it opened it up in the vi editor so that now I can start editing it. Okay. But from here, it becomes tricky. From here, you will have to get used to some new changes. What those changes are, how that is the behavior. Vi, see, I have installed Vim, but I did not use Vim. I used Vi because I am trying to show you the comparison between these two editors, Vi versus Vim. So in Vi, it has opened up the file. But now there are two things that you need to know. What are the two things? The two things are, you will, what is the purpose of Vi or Vim? Both of these. Both of them will be doing the same thing. Okay. So let me list out the functionality. First of all, it can open files. This is number one. For opening files. Okay, files, not directories. Directories you cannot open using Vi. Because there is nothing to change in directories. It is just a container. Okay, so you can open files. You can, now for opening files, there are modes. In which mode are you opening the file? There are two modes. One is normal mode. And the second one is insert mode. Okay, in which mode you are, it will depend what is happening to the file, that will change. Whenever you have used Vi to open a file, this is your normal mode. You should see at the bottom how it is reflecting. Okay. At the bottom, it is showing the name of the file, and here it is showing new. If there are tilde symbols like this, that means it is a completely empty file. Okay. So now I'm showing what I'm going to do in the keyboard. Okay. Remember, you will, when you are working with Vi or Vim editor, you will need to use escape key and I. Okay, I button and escape button in the keyboard. You will need to use it. When you are in, so whenever you have opened a file that is in normal mode, but suppose you now want to write something, then you will have to press I first on the keyboard. Observe what happens in the bottom here. Because it is in escape mode, it will not allow you to write anything. To write something, to change the content of the file, you have to press I first. The moment I press I, at the bottom here, it will show insert mode. Okay, so let me do that. Now see, this last line is not part of the file. This last line is for the user to understand, like in which mode is the user currently in. Okay, so now I can start typing here. Okay, I will do a comment here. So code for registration.html. Okay, and then what I will do is I already have the code with me. Where is the notepad? This thing I will simply Control A, Control C, and I will right click on it. Oops. Okay. So see, now it has become much more easier to read, right? Now you have to understand one thing. If I try to move my mouse cursor, the scroll wheel on the mouse, then it will show up like this. Okay. But in command line interface, you are not supposed to use that. You are supposed to use the arrow keys. See, look at this green cursor here. This is the cursor. If you want to move up, you need to use the arrow keys like this. Okay, because this is command line interface. Your normal mouse functionality, this is not graphical user interface. When I'm trying to use the mouse wheel, then it is behaving oddly. Okay, it is throwing me out of the editor. But I don't want that. I want to be in the editor. So if I want to navigate up and down in the navigator, I have to use the arrow keys. So you have to get used to this. This is why it is called command line mode. Okay. Now I was actually not expecting this, but for some reason it is showing colorful in VI. Now this is the actual change in Vim also. Maybe because I've taken update on this operating system, that is why it is showing it. But otherwise, your VI editor actually opens this entire thing, shows up in white color. Okay, like this. If it is in white color like this, it is not only difficult to read. For troubleshooting also, you will find it very difficult to identify. Like for example, here this style tag, where is it starting, where is it ending? But if the color is there, then you can easily identify. Okay, that is the main thing. Okay, so now let me see. I've written something. Let's say all these lines of coding. So wherever, see, observe what is happening here. This 72 and 1. So 72 is the row number, 1 is the column number. As I am changing my mouse arrow key. Okay, so let me use this, show this. See, row number is changing. And if I go to right, then the column number is changing. Okay, so right now my cursor is in row number 62 and column number 12. Okay, and now it is in insert mode. So I have inserted the code, everything is fine. Now what if I want, I want to save this file. Now in Windows, what do? You open the file and you click on file and then you click on save. But this is graphical user interface. You cannot do that in command line interface in Linux. So how do you do that? You have to come out of insert mode. Earlier I told you there are two modes. One is normal mode and one is insert mode. In insert mode, you are actually inserting and editing text. But now I have completed my editing. Now I want to save and exit. For doing that, I will have to, once I am done with the whatever I want to type, I have typed everything. Then I am I went into insert mode by pressing the I button on the keyboard. Now I have to press the escape button. Just see what will happen here in this line here. Observe at the bottom. So if I have to come out of my from insert mode, if I have to go to normal mode, I have to press the escape button. I will press escape. See, now it is no longer showing insert here. Okay. So now I'm in escape mode. Now I will not be able to type anything. Okay. First you have to come to escape mode. Then you will have to press colon. Colon is this key. This is semicolon and this is colon. 2 dots vertically is colon and 1 dot with one arrow thing. Okay, that is semicolon. Okay, so just to show you the difference, this is colon and this is semicolon. Sorry. See the difference. Okay, one is like this. Now we want to use this. This is colon, this is semicolon. So for saving, we will start with colon. I've already pressed escape, and then so for colon, obviously I have to press shift and then this. So here at the bottom, colon has typed, and then W for save. This is the command. So this part of what I'm typing here, this is only for my viewing. This is not part of the file inside content. Okay, that is why I had to press escape. So colon and then W. W is for saving the file, and then Q. WQ, save and quit. Q is for quitting. This thing will not show in any history. This will not come up in your command, history of commands that you have typed. And then I will simply press enter. There it is. Now my file has been created. After that, it was edited. And then I also saved and quit the file. So if I want to see the content, I want to only see the content of the file. I don't want to edit. So using, so if you want to see only the content, for that the command is cat, C-A-T, cat, and then the file name, which file you want to see, registration.html. So it will not open the file. It will only, if I press enter, it will only show the content here like this. Okay, so all this thing has been typed inside the file. Now, if I clear up the screen, Control L, and then I can use Vim also. Vim and then registration.html and then press enter. Okay, so if you see, Vim is a little bit different. The way it is displaying, it is different. But I was expecting, actually, VI has become more advanced, it looks like. Vim VI was more colorful. Nevertheless, both the ways of using are same. Now I can simply quit this. So I will press colon, quit. I don't want to make any change here. That is why I did not go into the insert mode at all. And I will just press enter. That is how you create a file and using either VI editor or Vim editor. Vim by default will not be installed in Red Hat, but then VI will definitely be installed. There is something called scripting. Using scripting, you can automate repeat tasks. So for writing scripts, you need editors like VI. So that is what I wanted to teach today. So remember, you for normal mode, let me actually mention this here. This is the part which is tricky. So normal mode, you have to come into normal mode, you have to press the escape key, and to come into insert mode, when you want to type something as part of the file, you have to press I on your keyboard. I escape. And then finally, when you want to save and quit, first you have to press escape. After that, you have to press type colon and then W and Q. This thing I cannot, I can only show on the keyboard. I tried to use the virtual keyboard to show you. This thing will, if I do the problem here is, if I type history to show the list of the commands that I've typed, that this part will not come up. :WQ, escape, insert. That is something which is internal to VI editor. Okay, so you will not find that here. So at that time, then you follow the, like, play and pause the video file, how I did it for practicing. Because that thing I cannot, I have tried to mention it here. So remember this part. It is for people who use it for the first time, it is little bit tricky. That is how you use Vim editor. So more or less now we are at the end of our basic Linux training journey, but that does not mean like this is just the very beginning. Okay. Now you need to learn Linux because Linux is it is a mandatory operating system that you should know if you are going to, if you have the intention to work as a software engineer. Okay. So if you ask yourself, like, why should I learn Linux? Then, I mean, like, the very first thing, like in the first day I told you, there is a huge market demand for people who are who have knowledge of Linux. See, this is the first thing I had showed you. If you take the entire internet, okay, if you check all the internet, in the entire internet, if you consider all the websites in the world, 70% of those websites are hosted on Linux servers. So somewhere down the line, definitely you will encounter Linux, until and unless you are completely doing work in a completely Windows environment. So 70% is a very big deal. And that too, even when you are working on Windows environment, there would be hundreds of other tools which also have to interact with Windows. Windows software will have to interact with them. And those tools are Linux based. That is number one, why you should learn Linux. Second is, Linux is open source. If you want to use Windows, you will have to buy Windows. Okay. If you buy a new laptop or a new computer, it is coming pre-configured in it. That means you already paid the price for that. While you purchase the laptop, you already purchased the price for purchasing the Windows operating system. But unlike that, Linux is free. If you want to learn, all you need to do, for example, for Red Hat, you can, as I've already shown earlier, you can create EC2 instance. But if you want to learn Ubuntu Linux, which is similar, okay, you go to Ubuntu website. Most of the Linux versions are free for use. Okay, you can simply go come up here and get Ubuntu Pro or whichever version you want, which is, so for you can simply go to like, where is the download page here? Now this is a little bit different. You can actually click on this and then you can download that version now. Okay, and then register for personal use. It will be completely free. Okay, so there is something called LTS version. LTS version means long-term support. For 5 years, they will keep providing you packages free, completely free, no charges. Okay. So this is another reason. It is free to learn. There is a huge market demand for this in IT industry, for people because you will be dealing with servers, you will be dealing with cloud computing, you will be dealing with embedded systems. All this requires proficiency in Linux. If you know Linux, it will open up new job opportunities for you and you can enhance your career prospects. It is free to use. You can easily distribute it. It is a very attractive option, actually. On top of that, Linux is best known for its security features. Okay, Linux has got it is highly secure. So that is why it is also so popular, because of its security features. So that is another thing while learning, you will get to know, okay, how I can implement all the security features. Because in companies, security is a thing which is of primary concern. Apart from that, compatibility. Linux supports a wide range of hardware and software. It makes it very easy to do day-to-day tasks. The only thing is, for beginners, like using this kind of stuff, command line interface, this looks a little bit challenging. But then later on, as you keep using it, you will realize that this command line interface is much more powerful. If you are taking 30 minutes to install a software on one computer in graphical user interface, using command line interface like this, in 30 minutes, you can deploy the same software in 1,000 computers. That is a pretty big deal. Now, how do you learn all of that? You can do server administration. You can do development and programming. You can do database connections. There is a lot of community support also for learning. Any problem you get stuck in, you search in Google, you search in Stack Overflow, in ChatGPT, you will get answers. Okay, that is the reason why you learn Linux. Apart from that, there is one course that we are going to start from Monday. We will confirm that. As of now, it is looking like we are going to start from Monday, but you can follow the chat thing. And the main thing for learning Linux is like for DevOps with AWS. This is one of the things that if you learn, you can double, triple, or make it 4 times of what you are currently earning. In this course, you will learn. So for learning this course, the prerequisite thing is definitely Linux. Whatever in this week, in these 5 days, whatever I've taught, if you manage to do that on your own system by creating your own AWS account and practicing each and everything that I've taught, you are ready to start learning DevOps on AWS. Don't think that you have learned Linux. It is not even the tip of the iceberg, but you have to start from somewhere. So this is the beginning. If you learn this, this is actually our main thing that we are interested in teaching. So by becoming a DevOps engineer, like for becoming a DevOps engineer, Linux is a must. And then you will learn about things like Git, Jenkins, Ansible. These are all the basic tools that a DevOps engineer uses. So this is our primary course. And for doing this course, knowledge of Linux, as much as I have taught in this last 5 days, is mandatory. Okay. So for going through all of these details, for learning this, I mean, like we have got a new batch that is going to start most probably from Monday. Please follow the Slack channel or the WhatsApp group. You will get further information, the confirmed information about this. Now, let me check. On that note, I will open up the forum for questions.
Okay. Thanks, Kallol, for taking the session. It was a very nice session for 5 days. Guys, we have shared a lot of links in the Zoom chat, like Slack channel, our classroom link where you can get all the recordings. Don't forget to click on those links, okay, and join. Again, this particular curriculum which Kallol is currently showing, it is having 22 real-time projects, okay, 22 hours and 6 real-time projects. So this is going to give you immense experience, okay. So focus on this particular curriculum. Curriculum is shared on the chat window. Click on that. You can actually see this particular curriculum, and then there will be a free demo going on, okay, I think on 4th September. So don't miss that, okay. Please join. There will be, I think, 2-3 sessions, okay, demo sessions where you will understand all the projects, what exactly we are going to do. So this will help you all in focusing on DevOps thing, because ultimately, why are we learning Linux? Because we have to move into DevOps world, okay. Why we will be learning cloud? Because we have to move to DevOps. That's the whole point. That's the whole agenda of our class, and to create a community. So, and now you can ask questions. Kallol will be answering.
But people who have issues on with mic, they can post their question on chat. or you can, are they able to, are they unmuted? Let us
Yes, they
check
can
that.
unmute and they can talk.
Thank you. People, please don't feel shy. This is the last day of the interaction regarding the related to the Linux class. So please, if you have any questions, please ask it now. We will be very happy to answer your questions.
Hello, it's a very nice training which you've taken since last 5 days, and it is very useful. And I
Thank you.
have small doubt. See, as you said that it is not a complete Linux course which you taught in 5 days. So if we continue with the AWS, will be able to capable of working in Linux?
See, the DevOps tools that we will be using, the servers that we'll be working with, the AWS instances that we'll be creating, and when the servers will be interacting with each other, that is completely Linux based. So as and when I am going to use those tools, most of the time I will be 90% of the time I will be working on Linux system like this, as you are seeing, this one. Okay, command line interface. So when I will be typing those commands, I will definitely be explaining those commands. Okay. It is just like before you can start learning, before you can start using how to drive a car, you just need to know the basic things first. Where is the steering wheel? How to use the steering wheel? Where is the gear? Where is the clutch, brake? How to look at the rear window mirrors? Okay. But learning those basic things and learning the basic traffic rules does not mean you have become an expert in driving a car. Gradually, when you start driving from a slow speed, 5 km/h, like switch on the ignition, turn off the car, start like from gradually give the speed, increase the throttle from 5 km/h, 10 km/h, then make a left turn, right turn. Gradually, you will keep learning. Similarly, here also, I have been using pretty common commands, which are definitely used on a daily basis. But apart from that, it is actually, there are a lot more commands. All of those commands, as and when we progress in the course, obviously I will be discussing that. It will be an ongoing journey. It is never going to stop. Believe me, there would be some person in this world who is the best expert in using Linux commands. Even that person does not know all the commands by heart. That is just not possible. It is always they will have to refer. Refer to what? Refer to manuals. Okay. For example, let me quickly show you. Let's say Red Hat. Okay. So Red Hat Linux documentation. That is what you have to learn, how to use documents. Okay. Red Hat documentation will always be there. Product documentation for any version. Okay. Here you will have, like, if you are stuck on a particular command, then you can check. Like in version 9, I'm having some doubts. Okay, you will have the commands that you need to use from here, from the documentation page, for each and every tool, for each and every version of Linux or any other tool. Like in this, where is the page? One second. Like here, there are hundreds of tools that we are going to use, like Git, Jenkins, Ansible, Kubernetes, Terraform. All these tools are DevOps tools. They will be using Linux. They will have their own documentation. So it will be a gradual, incremental process. How you need to, of that learning thing. Okay. And if you get stuck anywhere, that is where you will need to refer to the documentation. That is what we actually do. We are professionals, DevOps engineers. We work every day with that. So anytime we get stuck, we refer to documents always. And from that, we get our detail, like what do we need to actually do? How do we need to solve this problem? That is how it works. I hope it made sense what I said. Who asked this question? I missed the name. Sorry about that. But so in short, it is something that will be a gradual process, and over a period of a month, when you will be learning this DevOps on AWS project, every day I will be dealing with Linux. Every day I will be typing new commands and I will be explaining those commands as well. I hope I answered your question. I missed out the name. Who asked this question?
Myself, Ramesh.
Thank you, Ramesh, for asking such an important question.
Yeah,
I hope it
thank you
answers.
for explaining. Yeah.
Okay, next. What is the next question? Who wants to ask anything new?
Hello, sir. Myself, Deepak, and I have one question for DevOps engineer. There is must, you know, there is a must any kind of language that DevOps engineer should know. Okay,
Linux.
coding language like
Linux, using Linux, you will do something called scripting. And for that, you need to learn Bash. So that will be part of the thing because we will learn how to write scripts. That is coding only. See, don't be afraid of coding. Coding, what we will be doing as DevOps engineers is not the same as what coding developers do. Developers write code for creating new functionality. For example, here that you are seeing in this notepad, where is the notepad? This is registration. This is a HTML code which has been written. All these lines of code have been written so that it can render this HTML page. Only this page here. Okay. So as DevOps engineers, we are not responsible for writing this kind of code. We will be writing code for automating tasks, for configuring servers, for provisioning tools and resources. So that kind of coding you will be doing, and all coding. Okay. If you go to, for example, if you go to w3schools.com, like one of the most popular websites, if you see here, there is code for, you can learn HTML, you can learn JavaScript, see, Python, all Java. These are all programming languages. They have different purposes. Okay. But then the logic for writing them, conditions, variables, using concepts of inheritance, using loops, all that is same for all programming languages. Their syntax is different. So what we will be learning as part of the course, primarily, we will be focusing on learning Bash script. Okay, Bash is also a programming language. The commands that you are typing in Linux, that will be part of Bash script. So yes, we will be learning coding, but not in terms of development. We will be learning coding to write scripts so that we can automate our tasks using the same commands in Linux which we are giving. It is not that difficult. It is logical because you are dealing with computers. Computers do not have any intelligence. They are dumb machines. They will do only what they have been told to do. If you are telling it, if you are giving it the wrong steps, it will do it incorrectly. Okay, so in a sense, computers never make mistakes. It is we human beings who make mistakes. So that will be our coding that we are giving them. So yes, we will be dealing with coding. I will be teaching all of that in the course of the, while learning these multiple projects that we are doing, because all this requires hands-on training. So yes, we will be learning code, particularly Bash script in Linux.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're most welcome. Next question.
Kalul, I have one more. Sorry to ask you again.
Go ahead. No, don't
See,
be sorry. Just ask.
Okay, as you know that there are multiple clouds, cloud provider like AWS and Azure and GCP. So
GCP,
all,
IBM, many are there.
many are there. Yeah,
DigitalOcean,
or
yeah.
actually, yeah, IBM.
No.
Okay. So if we go for these classes, will we able to manage? If you see, as you know that if you work in any IT company, they will keep moving into here and there once project is over. So in other project, if you go there, it's a Azure. So will you able to work?
With Azure, I got your point. Rahul, do you want to take up this question? Maybe he's on mute. See, AWS in itself is an ocean. our course is primarily focused on using DevOps tools on AWS or using AWS. So learning Azure has got its own learning curve. For learning Azure, so see, I will tell you why it is. If you learn AWS, just inside AWS, there are so many services. Okay. If I go to the AWS homepage, there are hundreds of tools and services that AWS itself provides. Okay. If I just go to services, actually, so for analytics, there are so many tools. Similarly, for Azure also has its own tools. If you use Google Cloud Platform also has its own set of tools. The DevOps principles, the DevOps philosophy, the other tools that you will be using, they will be remaining the same. When I say the other tools, for example, Git, that has got nothing to do with AWS. That has got nothing to do with GCP or Azure, the cloud platform. Okay, these are third-party open source tools, and these are the most used in the industry. So even if you have to, if your project, if you are part of a new project, you have got expertise on AWS, then you will have to learn Azure. But then your knowledge of Git, Jenkins, Ansible, Kubernetes, Terraform, all of this that we are going to teach, creating CI/CD pipelines, using Maven, using Tomcat, all of this will still remain with you. Okay. The cloud platform, you will have to learn separately. Nobody can teach you all the 3 cloud platforms in market. You will never get any single course that teaches all the cloud platforms together. That is not possible. So one thing at a time you will have to learn, because in itself, AWS is an ocean. It is so vast. Okay. You have to learn many of these services from here. Certificate manager, VPC, EC2. Apart from that, networking concept you will have to learn. So all of these are there. So our course is primarily focusing only on using AWS cloud platform. Okay. So DevOps is not only learning cloud. It is multiple things happening at the same time. AWS is just one of the cloud platforms that you can use. But then why learn AWS? AWS is the most used cloud platform right now as per market share. AWS is competing with like Azure is trying to like take up it is highly competing with AWS at the time being, but AWS is the most we all know this gentleman, Jeff Bezos. Okay, this guy is the owner of entire Amazon. Okay, everybody knows Amazon.com. Okay, if you are thinking that he earns his money from Amazon online portal, no. Actually, Jeff Bezos earns most of his AWS income for Amazon comes from AWS services. Okay, so that is why learning AWS, you have to start from some cloud platform. So it is common sense to start with the cloud platform, which is the most in demand right now in the market. And that happens to be AWS. After learning AWS, but apart from that, these tools are still going to be implemented. Okay, even if you are using like Jenkins, Ansible, Kubernetes, Terraform, and all that, they will still be used, be it AWS, be it Google Cloud Platform, be it Azure, be it IBM, whatever cloud platform you are using. Maybe your company is going to implement a hybrid model. Half of it is on premise, half of it is on cloud. There also you will still be interacting with these tools only. These are the DevOps tools. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, Kallul. Got it.
Good. Next. What other questions do we have?
Yeah. Hello, sir.
Go ahead, please.
Sir, how much time will it require to master on Linux operating system? And sir, my another question is, what type of Linux distribution mostly uses IT companies?
Okay. The first thing is master. So you have got 3 levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Advanced is master. So you have started from beginner. Whatever I have taught in these 5 days, that is the starting point where you can start using the operating system. By operating system, I mean this command line interface. Okay, this is the starting point. In the beginner level, by the end of the course that you are going to do with us, these 22 plus hours of training. And so 22 hours of training I am providing. Apart from that, for my 1 hour of training, you will need to spend 3 to 4 hours on your own on learning. Okay. So after this time period, once you have practiced each and every command that I have given, each and every project you have undertaken, you have done it yourself. Okay, there will be many supporting documents which I will be providing. For example, you will have to, let me just show you. To do the project, there will be a lot of architecture diagrams. Okay, now if I show it, it will be like looking very complex to you. But when I start teaching it, then gradually you will understand. Okay, this is a typical architecture diagram for a CI/CD implementation using various tools. Okay, Git, Maven, Apache, all of this stuff. Okay, so here, see SSH, everywhere Linux is there. Anywhere I'm going to move around in this diagram, there is Linux. So once you have, so like this is one project. Similarly, there will be multiple projects that you are going to do with me. And by the time you complete it, when you are able to do it on your own, when you are typing some command and you know why you are typing it, by that time you will have moved from beginner to intermediate level. And as far as advanced that you are saying, that will take years to work in real-time environments. But when you are in a intermediate level of understanding Linux, then you will be in such a position that you will be able to ask the correct question. What do I need to do? And after that, you will be able to search for the, because if you are not asking the correct question on the internet, you will not get the correct reply. If you come to that position where you are asking the correct question, then you will also get the correct answer. And then you can try and test. And then gradually it is a process. This is not going to happen in one night or 1 week. You have to keep learning. In IT field, your learning will never stop. Because every day new technologies will come up, older technologies will be retired, current software which is being used, that will be upgraded. So every time you will have to keep learning. It is a continuous process. You can ask anybody in IT, their learning never stops in IT. And that is why whenever a new technology comes, people who know that technology are less in number. So right now, less people know about DevOps. That is why DevOps engineers are paid highly. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. And sir, which Linux distribution used by most IT?
Red Hat Linux is the
Only
most
Red Hat?
used. No, it is not only Red Hat. Ubuntu is also popular. But for enterprise level, Red Hat is like preferred by organizations.
Okay, sir.
Ubuntu is also used. Most of different distributions of Linux have different commands, but then 95 to 98% of the commands in all Linux distributions are same. Okay, it will depend on the project that you are doing. What kind of, but then Red Hat and Ubuntu are the most common. Red Hat is the most common for enterprise level tasks. Go ahead. What next question do we have?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please ask your question.
Sir, I forgot one command. That is how to create a file or directory without going to individual part we want to create it.
How to create a file or directory
without going to the path we have to
without
like a switch
changing
command.
directory.
Yes, without.
So for example, let's say I want to, so this is directory 2, right? directory 2 is present in decompressed files. I want to create a file inside directory 2. Is that something that you're asking? Something like
Yes,
that?
sir. Yes, yes.
Okay. So let us type the command for that. So for creating file, you can just do touch, but this will be empty file. Okay. Touch. And then what is the path? Let me see again. Decompressed files. Okay. I'll go to decompressed files and under that directory 2. What is the name? I'm missing it. Decompressed file. Oh, under decompressed files, there is fruits backup. Under fruits backup, there is directory 2. Right. I'm not following the hierarchy here. So that is why it is not coming up. So fruits backup, under that directory 2. After that, I will give the file name. So I have to give the complete path first. So I am in my home directory right now. That is root home EC2 user. So the touch is the command, and from here it is the path. I want to create the file inside this path. So if you see, directory 2 has got nothing. So let's say I want to create new file and I will press enter. Okay, so let me do Control L and let me see tree. And if I go up, where is it? Kahan gaya? See, directory 2, new file. Do you see? I did not change my path.
Yes, sir.
This is how you create that. Okay.
Okay.
What else? What is going on in chat? Sorry, I forgot to check chat. 3 years experience from this course. Obviously, when you are learning all of these new things, you will, and when you are appearing the interview, definitely you are going to get job. That is the whole point. But job does not mean that like you will only, this is a technical course. This is a project oriented course, which directly means that all these will all be projects here one by one. This is a little bit of theoretical, but then like CI/CD pipeline, these are all projects. So all these projects you will have to do yourself. When I say yourself, I will definitely be giving the instructor-led training, everything in detail, step by step. Every command, every line will be explained. But if you think that you will only watch the video and after that you will be able to do it, no, that is not how it is going to play. You will have to do the practice yourself. And once you are thoroughly done with the practice, then automatically you will have gained the confidence to face the interview. And then obviously you will get the job. When in the interviewer sees that you know how to deploy a Tomcat server in a CI/CD pipeline using this kind of complex architecture, then they will be really interested in you, because you will be able to explain each and everything, how it is being done here. Okay. In the beginning, because you are you are beginners, it might be looking very complex to you, but it is a very logical process. Step by step, if you keep doing it, you will understand. It is not impossible to learn. Okay, it is also not that difficult, but then you will have to keep studying every day, keep pace with me. And anyways, it is possible that you might miss out. So that is why all the videos, lectures, these in Zoom that we conduct, they are always recorded. You will have 24/7 access to those recorded files, whatever documents, other helping documents are required, scripts, project files, all of that I will be providing. And then you just have to watch the video, play, pause, implement, learn, do it yourself. Obviously, after that, you will get knowledge. From that knowledge, you will have gather confidence after practicing multiple times. And then you can easily crack the interview. I hope that answers the question regarding job. This
Hi
is
all,
actually, yes.
I have posted the Zoom link for the class which is starting from Monday. So I request you to copy and save this information on your computer. and also click that Zoom link and register.
Yes. So the DevOps course that we are talking about, so it is starting from Monday. So this is the course we are talking about. You will kindly register for this course now. And rest of the details you can see from this. You will get the details like what we are going to teach here in this 1 month of the course. So believe me when I'm saying everything is project based here, everything is hands-on. It will not be like I'm only blabbering and giving you theory. No, it does not work like that. You will actually be doing things practically with lab sessions. Otherwise, it does not make sense. You will be learning all of these concepts one by one. These are CI/CD projects. Okay, CI/CD means continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous delivery. As soon as the developers make the code change, immediately within a couple of minutes, the users are able to use the application. That is the power of using DevOps and DevOps tools. Okay, any more questions? Please ask now before we wrap up in a few minutes. I hope everybody here has joined the WhatsApp group because there you will get all the links and also the Slack channel. What else do we have on chat? Let me see. Sir, which is the command for creating file or directory without going to path? I think I just now answered this question. Okay. 3 years existing. So whatever field you are in, that will definitely add up because you are going to learn all these new tools and concepts here. All these major CI/CD projects. Okay. Integrating Ansible in CI/CD pipeline, Kubernetes clusters. All of these are like heavily sought after courses. Using Tomcat and rest of the stuff. And apart from this, after that, there are other advanced courses, but this is definitely the beginning. You have to start from somewhere. This is the best place to start. Learn Linux first and then get into a course which is completely practical, project oriented. Any other questions? Please ask. Don't feel shy. It's fine. If you have any mic issue, you can post it on chat. I'm reading the chat as well now. Okay. Rahul, are you there on the call? I think most probably he has dropped or something. Yes, guys, let's not waste time. If there is anything, please ask your question now. Okay, somebody has asked how to create IAM user S3 bucket VPC. This is definitely part of cloud. So S3 bucket we will not be requiring as part of this course, but VPC IAM user that I will be teaching as part of the DevOps course. Because if you see my login, I'm using IAM user that I will that I will definitely be teaching you. That is part of AWS. What is the procedure for getting certificate? Admin team, you want to address that? Somebody is asking regarding certification for this course.
Yes,
Actually,
after this class, by Monday, people who have attended the full class for 5 days will be receiving a certificate on their email. So if others do not have any questions, then we can wrap up for today.
Is it Linux certification?
yes, we have been dealing only with Linux, right? We have not done anything else. The only thing about
certificate-
AWS I taught you was like how to create a EC2 instance so that you can start up this Linux console.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I have not taught anything else, right? How can I give
Yes,
you
yes,
any
we
other
got
certificates?
it. So I just wanted to know, we will get a coupon for Linux certification or a voucher, something like that.
I am not sure I
No.
understood it. Emmanuel, you want to take care of
No,
this?
there is no voucher for Linux certification. You'll be getting this 5-day course that people who have attended all the 5 days, and for the full duration, they'll get a course completion certificate from LWPLabs from us.
Okay.
Okay. What else questions do we have? Somebody is asking question related to tools, Docker. Yeah, Docker you will learn, Terraform you will learn, AWS VPC. Obviously, without a virtual private cloud network, you cannot do. This course has got these trainings will be there as part of the course. So that it is very difficult to explain this. Okay, because it requires first you will have to understand the diagram. This is an example of CI/CD deployment. Okay, I don't know how much you will understand out of this, but I will try my best. I think this is Hari Prasad who has asked the question here. So see here there is a actual live project deployment here. Multiple developers are pushing their code using SSH client and Git client. They are pushing their code to something called GitHub, which is a remote repo server. From there, in one of the EC2 instances, there is Jenkins and Maven. So Jenkins is a server, continuous integration server, that is fetching the code from GitHub, giving it to Maven. Then Maven is a build tool that we are using. Before that, there has been SSH secure connection that has been established with the remote computers to which Jenkins and any other EC2 has to communicate with. This war file is getting created. This is another archive file. Today I use the tar command that was to describe something that has something to do with archive files. So just like .gz, .tar.gz is an archive file. Similarly, .war is an archive file, web archive file, which is used in Java-based projects. So that web archive file will then get deployed, copied to another EC2 host where Docker is used. Using Docker, then you are going to pull images, and then from that image, you are going to create containers, virtual environments. And inside that, you are going to run Tomcat application server. And then that is going to finally deploy your website. So this is like one of the projects. So like this, we are going to do multiple projects. So yes, I think this is definitely going to help you. So many students have joined, hundreds and hundreds of students have joined. And for the past 5 years, we have been training people and they are getting jobs. They are moving abroad, and like we have got students from abroad also. I teach globally. Okay, I've got students from Spain, UK, USA, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, all these countries I've got, whichever time zone actually permits. So many students are there from Africa. So many students are there from Canada. So yes, you can learn this and then you can become a software engineer and then go abroad. These technologies, these tools are in high demand in the market now. This is not something that I'm just saying for the sake of selling. No, this is practical reality. You can check with your colleagues, you can check with your peers or friends who already have got jobs. Look at the technologies they already know, why they got selected for that job, or maybe they know somebody who has been selected, and then compare it with the class, whatever I'm showing here as part of the syllabus. Okay, it is not as if like only one thing will teach you everything. That is not possible. You need to learn in stages, but this course will be good enough for you to at least apply for a entry-level DevOps engineer job. That is something that definitely you are going to get. Okay, these are not lies. These are not just being said like randomly. It has got practical consequence. Learning all of this stuff here, all these projects. Okay, anyone else has any question? I think then if we are good, I mean, like if you have any questions, please post it on WhatsApp and the Slack channel. Maybe you are not able to communicate right now. Maybe few people are traveling. That's fine. If a person is having 3 years of gap in his profile, learning this course, of course it is helpful. See, when you are in front of the, so assume something, this is Hari Prasad. So if you have learned diligently whatever is going to be taught, and then you have practiced it yourself, and after that you are facing an interviewer or an interview panel, and you are describing them things in detail. Okay, for example, this architecture diagram, then you are definitely going to leave a good impression on them. They will know that, okay, this guy knows how to deploy stuff. And when you can, so that means you will be valuable for them, right? You can do that in their company also. And then definitely your chances of getting hired will definitely be, you will have a greater advantage compared to others. So just imagine what kind of people will companies try to hire. People who do not know anything about DevOps technology. If they hire them, then they will have to train them. And after training only, they will start working. But then you already know how to do things. So obviously you will have a preference there if you know tools and technologies about DevOps. So yes, it is definitely going to help you guys. Okay, I think, Emmanuel, we can wrap up. Unless somebody else has any question, because
Yeah, sure. We are running out of time as well. We need to start
yes,
another class.
yes.
Thank you all for joining the session. It was great having you. So we'll look forward to meet you in the session from Monday onwards.
Any other queries? Anything else? Keep kindly post your questions on the WhatsApp group or the Slack group, and we will definitely be trying to answer the same. I hope I was able to deliver a limited amount of knowledge, whatever I could do in 5 days, and I hope it will be. I'm very thankful for you guys to have had the patience to keep up with me for the last 5 days. Thank you very much for joining. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Thank you very much. Good night and have a great weekend. Thank you. Bye.
You too, Karna. Thank you so much.